Hello everyone and welcome to the Trending in My Life podcast, episode 29. This week it's all about beating the January blues. This morning I got up grumpy with a banging headache, not a good start to the day. In the kitchen I made myself a nice mug of tea and a ham and cheese mini croissant, then went to sit on the sofa in the living room with an ice pack on my neck, which was the root of my headache. I'm very much a breakfast person. None of this is to do with breakfast being the most important meal of the day. For me, when I open my eyes in the morning, my stomach instantly says, "Feed me now." So there I was, a croissant sandwich. And they always remind me of my friends Michelle and Danny, who introduced me to them when I was on vacation. And it's been a food I've loved ever since. A plain bread sandwich just can't compete. So thanks to Michelle and Danny for introducing me to them. At that time we had a picnic on a beach at sunset with mountains as a backdrop and water in front of us. It was really beautiful. So something special with friends that I remember every time I have a croissant sandwich. My headache was gone this morning by the time I finished my tea. And when I walked into the kitchen to put my dishes in the sink, I drew back the curtains and marvelled at one of nature's wonders, frost. Frost is like the poor relation to snow that doesn't really get any credit for how beautiful it makes ordinary things look. Grass becomes a sea of white tipped blades overnight, and suddenly you can see how one clump is angled one way and another clump of grass the next. So it's all different. A wallflower at the back of the garden only has frost on the upper side of its long thin leaves, and the lower side is still green, so it looks like a waterfall. It's beautiful. Patches of earth have a whole pattern formed of highs and lows with the dips in the soil where the frost settles. It's really beautiful. So within an hour of getting up, I've used 2 strategies to beat the blues. And you can incorporate them into your toolbox to chase away those days when your get up and go has got up and gone. Food that represents a memory always fills your heart with warmth. Nature, if you stop and look more intently, is truly spectacular, even when viewed from a window. Now I really want to go for a walk and get some fresh air in my lungs, which is another way I beat the blues. Everything feels lighter and brighter after a walk. I'll bundle up warm with gloves and scarves and go and see what nature has to offer. My schedule today is intensely YouTube focused. I have numerous things to film and edit to see me through the week's published content. It's never a chore, but once it's Monday, I only have a small part of my evenings to devote to it. So I need to get cracking on with the bulk of it on the weekends. I've started a new series on my videos, which is called Baking Away the Blues, and I did part 1 last week. I'm continuing to talk about it in this podcast because it's such a big issue at this time of year. There are all different aspects of the blues. When you're feeling blue, you start to isolate yourself. You don't want to go out. You want to stay in. You don't want to be around others and pretend to be happy when you're feeling gloomy. Then that becomes loneliness and adds to your list of reasons you're blue. You can comfort eat, which then sabotages that New Year's resolution to lose weight. And that adds to your reasons for feeling a bit blue. A big one at this time of year is people start to get down on themselves. I'm useless, I can't stick to anything. That new diet I was going to do, I've already given up. I joined the gym and it was on offer, but I've bailed on that already. I just can't get up early to go in the mornings, and then after work I just don't want to go. I can never stick to anything. Well, join the club. It's this time of year. There are millions join gyms and then never even last the month. And the same with diets. They'll join up to a subscription where they pay and have a membership that is you're supposed to be supported by other members doing the same thing, and you can chat online, except you don't want to admit that this week you've gained weight, and gradually you stop going into the chat forums, and then eventually you just stop. After all, they're not sat on your shoulder if you happen to reach for that cookie or that big piece of chocolate cake, so they'll never know. But it's one of those aspects that does make us blue at this time of year. Some people will try and use shopping as therapy and shop the sales. I went yesterday, which was the first time since Christmas, and was quite disappointed. There were no huge bargains to be had tempting me, so I didn't end up buying anything. I go through spells like that though, when I can be shopping and looking for things and they just don't materialise, and I've learnt not to keep looking for things, because if I'm in that kind of mood, then it doesn't work if I just keep at it. I have to give up for a bit and then try again another time. But yeah, some people will use shopping as like retail therapy. That'll cheer me up. But at this time of year, it's just after Christmas, just after all that expenditure, and I think people don't have that much spare money at this time of year. So if they do get tempted and buy things, then there's the guilt factor as well. Another reason adding to your blues at this time of year. I can't really get out in the garden, and I feel very relaxed when I'm pottering around in the garden. I mean, I could go out, but it's freezing cold, and even with gardening gloves on, my fingers are going to get freezing, and the ground is rock hard because there was a lot of frost there this morning, and there's nothing really to do in the garden at this time of year. You know, you can't plant things because the soil's rock hard and the temperatures are too low for them to grow anyway. I guess you could start planning for spring, maybe create different levels with a sort of raised flower bed or a little pathway of stones. I've got solar lights in the garden, but they seem to off and on work, and I suppose at this time of year there's not enough sun to power them anyway. I've been looking out my bedroom window to see Crazy Squirrel, and there's no sign of any squirrels, and I wonder, with the drop in temperatures, it was -4 last week, whether they've gone into hibernation now, so I won't see them. And I kind of miss seeing them around. In fact, I was in the kitchen doing a lot of cooking for some shorts this morning, and the only sign of life in the garden was one wood pigeon. And I've said before, wood pigeons are the ones with that sort of ring in the feathers around their neck, so they're very distinctive. And I've never ever seen a thin wood pigeon. They are always very chubby, and I think at this time of year they must have that layer of fat on them that means they can still wander around the place and not stay home in the nest. Although birds tend to fly south for the winter, don't they, if they can't handle the cold. So that's probably where the smaller birds have gone. It is the time of year that makes us want to snuggle up at home, have a hot chocolate, not really move very far. And yet I find once I'm out, once I'm getting from A to B, looking at different things, I feel a lot better. I feel a lot more alive when I'm doing stuff like that than when I'm just sat at home. There's always a zillion things to do in a house, all the cleaning chores and stuff like that. Obviously I'm filming and editing a lot of the time as well. But yeah, I like to go out. I mean, apart from anything else, I find that being out and about gives me ideas for new content. Something that I see will make me think, yes, now I could do that. So yeah, other content just comes to me. There will be a short coming out Saturday. I had the idea just after I'd had a headache, and then when I baked it, I thought that would be perfect for Valentine's Day, and I thought, yeah, but I don't want to hold the content until then. I had the idea this morning, so I did it. You have to be your own cheerleading squad. You have to be your own motivator to try and beat these blues. It's something that you have to make a habit so that you automatically do these things every day. When you look in the mirror, no matter what you see, smile at yourself and do a thumbs up. Tell yourself you got this. Because then each day that you go through, you feel like you can handle it. It's not going to overwhelm you. You can do it. Forgive yourself when you back down from doing something, when you decide it's all too much, you can't do it anymore, and you give up on a routine that you'd started only a few weeks before. Just forgive yourself and say, well, this is the new me and I'm going to do this my way, and maybe I won't do that right now. Maybe I'll do it later in the year when it's sunny and warm and I feel more motivated to do it. And it doesn't mean you're a failure, and it doesn't mean that you've done anything wrong. You're still brilliant and wonderful and awesome, and you just have to keep telling yourself that. It's a time of year when it's easy to feel you can't manage and you can't do things. And the way to deal with that is to break it down into small baby steps. You can cope with one step at a time. You can cope with one day at a time, or the next hour, or the next half day. That's all you have to do. And then when you get through that, then you can set yourself a goal to get through the next half day or the next day or even a whole week. And gradually, step by step, you make your way through and you get a little brighter and a little more cheery, and there's a little less to be sad about, and you make your way out of the blues. And before you know it, when you wake up in the morning, that smile in the mirror won't be a forced one, it'll be a natural one. It'll be, you're glad to be alive, you're glad to be here and looking forward to the day. And that's how you get out of the blues, one step at a time, working your way through it, trying all different kinds of strategies, laying still and thinking of nothing, breathing in, breathing out, just helping your body relax and unwind. I think sometimes you're around people that are talking a lot about their New Year's resolutions at this time of year. And if they have joined a gym and they're sticking to it and they're very into it, that's all they'll talk about. They'll talk about the machines and, they did so many repetitions more today than yesterday or more than last week. And they become slightly obsessed with it's all they want to talk about. And if you've tried a similar thing and kind of given up because it got too much for you, then that doesn't make you a failure, but it does make it kind of difficult to listen to them talking about it. And all I'd say was just let them have their moment, just give them some positive affirmations. Yeah, you're doing brilliant, well done, kind of thing. Because that's just being kind to people as you go along. Everybody is unique and different, and for some people they can do that and for others they can't, but the others who can't will find their own way of doing things, and it doesn't make it any less valid or any less useful to them in their own life. I think the thing is about having the blues, feeling down in the dumps, a case of the glums, whatever the cause of it, it's okay to feel like that. We all get like that sometimes, and sometimes it's just the time of year, and sometimes there's a catalyst, something's happened in your life to make you feel that way. It might even be something like a friend has moved away and you feel their absence, and the routine that you used to have has completely gone out the window, and you've got to build up new routines. Often building up a new routine, starting new habits, can help you get out of the blues and progress to feeling okay again. And you you want to wish yourself into a new future, a brighter future. And the thing is, as time passes, you will get there because the seasons will change and there'll be spring and there'll be lots of sunshine and there'll be flowers sprouting in the ground and leaves on the trees, and just walking down streets will cheer you up because everything looks different and new and not grey and gloomy and bare. If the catalyst for you being gloomy, for you having a case of the blues, is something that there's an alternative to, something that you think, oh yeah, I could do that instead. Maybe you just don't want to at the moment. Maybe you need time to adjust to a situation where you change what you're going to do. And again, the whole baby steps thing is very useful because you allow yourself the time to work your way through to a solution, something that you can deal with and feels comfortable for you. So combining different strategies can often help you see your way through. And it's never simple. It's never like flicking on a switch and saying, okay, I'm not going to be sad now, because it takes time and it takes adjusting your viewpoint. Like if you've been shutting yourself away and not going out, and because you think, oh, it's too cold, it's too wet, and I don't feel like meeting people or going out, and then you change and you step outside the door on a brighter sunny day, and although it's cold, you're wrapped up and you feel, actually, it's okay out here, I feel okay now, and it's quite nice to get out the house. And yeah, you can feel a bit more positive about things, and that's what we all want to be, a little bit more positive each day, working our way towards happy, which is where we want to be. Well, I hope you enjoyed this podcast, and if you want to see some more ways of beating the blues, follow my series on Fridays, which are videos about baking away the blues, and hope that will give you some inspiration. So please like, comment, subscribe, share with a friend, and come back next time. Bye for now.